Excuse me. Welcome, Internet, to my little station. So, I'm going to explain what's going on with my motherboard and what we're doing. This motherboard here, this is my original board. So this is the motherboard that I had before I contacted ASUS. It works, sort of. Let's go into that now. This is slot D1. Sorry, I'm looking at the feed so I can make sure I'm looking at everybody. So this is the slots D1 and D2. These are, per the manual, the testing slots for this board, the X99-A. These two slots don't work on this board. All the other slots, they work fine. The board boots, it's usable, but the issue is, well, what happens when these two slots decide they're not going to work like these two slots, and then these two slots decide, hey, we're not going to work either. That's the issue that I have with this board in terms of me saying it's not stable. I think anybody can relate to that. That's an issue. So I contacted ASUS through the internet, and I talked with, or emailed back and forth with support doing a whole bunch of stuff. And they eventually said, yes, your board needs to be replaced, so we'll do an RMA. And I said, I can't do an RMA. I am a freelance visual effects artist, graphic designer, programmer, whatever. I freelance, so I am my own business. So I have to have a working motherboard, a stable working motherboard. So they said, okay, well, we can do an advanced RMA. I said, okay, that's great. And so they put a hold on my card, which is procedure, and they sent me out a new motherboard, which you'll see in other videos. I have installed here. Now this, right here, this is actually the second replacement motherboard they sent me, because the first replacement motherboard came, and it didn't work. It wouldn't boot. I went through a whole bunch of steps. It was giving me a Q code of 6.1, which is NVRAM initialization. So I did a lot of research on what that could potentially be. And somebody probably knows better than me, but it's generally related to BIOS. I read a lot of stuff that it could be the video card related or RAM related, but the general consensus always went back to the BIOS. So I said, okay, well, these motherboards, and you can see it better on this one here, have a really nifty feature. This guy right here, and this USB port right there is third-party something or other USB flashback. So you can take a USB key, a drive, with a BIOS, and you can manually flash the BIOS that way while the system's powered off to help solve those types of errors. Well, the first replacement board that I was sent, that function wasn't working. It wouldn't flash the BIOS. I tried multiple USB keys, and the BIOS wouldn't. That option on the board wouldn't work. It wouldn't go. It lit up solid, which means there's an error, and I'll go over that later. So they said, okay, well, we'll send us back that board. We can't do another advanced RMA because you already have one out, which kind of makes sense. So I sent them the other board back. They said, track it, and as soon as it gets here, call us, and we'll stop the repair process, and we'll advance RMA you a new board right away. I said, oh, okay, that's awesome. At this point, I've talked to multiple people, and the reason is because when I first installed the board and couldn't get it to work, I'd messed with it for a few days. Then I called them, and they said they initially tried to do an advanced RMA, and for like a week I kept trying to fill it out online. You have to fill out your name and your address and the model numbers, serial numbers, all that, put in your bank card for a hold. It wouldn't let me do it. It keeps saying that the transaction was denied, which I thought, well, that's just silly, because there's got plenty of money to put a hold on it. So after calling them back, and I said, just keep trying, because it could take the system a while. So okay, that's fine. So after a week, I'm like, okay, this isn't working. What am I supposed to do here? Because now the original RMA, which was for this board here, the advanced RMA, says, okay, as soon as you get the new board, you install it, it works, you have to send this back. Well, the first replacement board wasn't working, so I couldn't send back my old board, because it still worked technically. And they said, like I was just saying, they said, okay, well, send this new board back. I said, well, they're going to charge me. You guys are going to charge me. I got an email, because we've been messing around with this for so long. I mean, it's taken several weeks, nearing a month almost, that I've been screwing with them back and forth, trying to get this other board to work, trying every possible situation, but troubleshooting stuff there is and imagine. I've been building these things for going on 15 years, so I mean, I know what I'm doing. Now, they finally said, okay, send this in your board. We'll send you a new one out. Just call us and we'll stop the repair and we'll send you an advanced RMA. Okay, it works for me. I'm okay with that. So we do this. I take the board to FedEx. They were nice enough to provide me with a label, so I didn't have to pay for the shipping. I took it to FedEx. I tracked it. As soon as I got it, I called and said, okay, you guys, you got the board. Let's do this second advanced RMA. And I said, okay. So we closed it out. And then, I'll make sure it's recording. It looks like it's recording. I need to verify it. I'm just going to assume it's recording and continue off where I left off. So anyway, they said, as I mentioned several times now, they said, send this back in. So I called them and they said, okay, I'll send them an email over, whatever, and we'll send it back over. And so that didn't happen. I got an email from someone, and I'll show all this stuff later, but hold on. So I got an email, sorry about that, from a lady who said, hey, we just got your board in, and we don't know what to do with this thing. You didn't contact us or call us or anything like that, and you didn't follow procedures, and this is unacceptable. I'm like, what? So I emailed this lady back with all of the correspondence I've had. At that point, it was like 6 people. Like, the next time you send an email like this, you need to check the RMA numbers for notes, because that's unacceptable. So at that point, I had just kind of had it. I called back, talked to somebody, went through the rounds again with, hey, this is what's going on. I mean, explain this to, like, I don't know, 15 people in the end, and now to everybody. So today I called again after this, and you'll see all the troubleshooting steps. And the guy was, I don't want to say he was rude, but he wasn't able to help me, and if he was, he didn't seem like he wanted to. But just overall, I've had a really bad experience back and forth with customer support. The first 2 or 3 people were really nice, and then it just progressively got, I don't know, worse and worse and worse and worse. So this is video documentation of everything, and I just want to show the world what doesn't work. And ASUS has been crappy in their customer service, and homie don't play that. So, alright, let's start with the teardown. Okay, the tear down, build up process is done. As you saw, I pointed to the little green dot that we made on the other video. Depending on how it pieces together, you might see it afterwards, but there's a green dot there. And I put that in slot D1, which I previously said does not work. And we're going to show that here in the next set of videos, where I demonstrate that the slots of D1 does not work with the RAMs. But this this particular DIMM will work in all the other slots, as we'll see. So I'm going to switch back to the